Hi, it's Kayla Vincent, and I'm doing my fine arts final video. So question 1 is, why is it important that people see famous works of art? Why is it important that you see famous works of art? So I believe it's important for people to see famous works of art because they get a better understanding of history and also because it fills them with awe. So as far as history goes, the pieces of art represent and portray ideas and customs that aren't always present in our modern world. So things such as like the way people dress or the way like some social norms and gender roles are present in art that aren't necessarily present in our art or our society today. And also, I make art, so it's really nice getting to see art throughout history and seeing how different pieces of art have held up through like the preservation process and just restoration. And also, it makes the art pieces more real when you see them in person rather than just on your phone. And also, it kind of like makes them more real in positive and negative ways. So positive ways because it's like, oh my goodness, somebody actually like made this art. And then in a negative way, it kind of like brings you back to earth, and it's like, oh, well, such as like the Mona Lisa being a lot smaller in person rather than how we kind of imagine that maybe it's huge. It kind of like brings you back to earth and makes you realize that like a real human had to make this piece rather than like, I don't even know, but it just makes the art feel more real. So question 2. Consider all the people, costs, and resources that are being utilized to preserve the art that you saw. Comment about what those actions say about the societies preserving their art, and how does that apply to the USA? So these societies that are preserving their art so well shows the priorities that they have, and it shows that they prioritize fine arts and just the really rich history that they have. That's like so many times more than the US. So like some of the pieces of art that we saw, they're like older than the United States itself. And that's like really crazy to think about. But similarly with the USA, the way that we preserve art shows the like what we value as art, except like we have in the past like destroyed art as means of protests. So like statues of historical figures that were racist were destroyed during the BLM movement. So it just shows that like our priorities aren't necessarily about the art that has been created, but it could be more about like the politics and equality that we value as a society rather than beautiful pieces of art that may or may not have like racist or problematic undertones. So, question 3 is, what do you think about people risking their lives for some of the art you witnessed? So, I personally think it's a really noble cause to risk your life to save art, but I wouldn't personally do the same thing. But that's just because I feel like art nowadays is so much more prominent. Like there's not really master artists like there used to be. Like people get commissioned to make art and like statues and murals and stuff like that, but there's not as many well-known artists like Michelangelo, Picasso, people like that. I am like really glad that these people did risk their lives to save the art because I wouldn't have seen these art pieces if they hadn't. But honestly, it's just really sad that like they even had to be in that position in the first place to like risk their lives for the art that they were saving. But so overall, like I think it's a noble cause. I wouldn't do it, but I'm glad that they did. So question 4. Well, explain the moments you experienced wonder. So I experienced wonder upon seeing Michelangelo's David because it's just like so wonderful being able to see such a massive statue that's like, because it's thinking like somebody had to create that, like just the technical mastery that Michelangelo had to have in order to make that statue just filled me with wonder. Also, seeing the huge hall of statues in the Vatican, similarly with Michelangelo's David, I was just really impressed with like how many there were, and it was just really cool being able to see like the different people that they valued as like statue worthy kind of. And then also it just filled me with wonders walking around the streets of Rome and Florence and Vienna, just seeing how many old buildings there were, like seeing buildings that were older than the United States and just like stuff like that. So question 5 is, how do you think this trip and your experience will affect your future self and why? So for me, as an artist, I think this trip was very inspirational, and I will definitely carry my knowledge and experience with me whenever I'm making art in the future. So like, while just being in the presence of so many beautiful pieces of art, and also just like being on the plane and like having a lot of thinking time, like I already had multiple ideas for new pieces of art that I wanted to make that were like kind of inspired by the pieces that I saw. And then also my future self will definitely be affected because of just how difficult travel was. Like, it was so beautiful and amazing to see Europe, but I don't know if I'm going back for a long time because I'm filming this on Saturday, the 22nd, and as of today, I still don't have my luggage. It's still gone, and it's just, the trip was wonderful, but it was bookended by such awful travel experiences, and I feel like it's just going to like steeply decline and just get worse and worse. So although it was like an amazing experience and like getting to experience that culture was like just very awe-inspiring, the trouble in getting there kind of like outweighed the amazing like experience that I had, in my opinion. But yeah, overall I had a really amazing time, and I'll always carry those memories and like cherish them, and I'm even gonna try to make a little scrapbook of my experience afterwards. But yeah, thank you.